Good morning. So, I'm sorry about there not being a Pancakes for Casey last week. A bunch of stuff happened, we recorded another thing that I'm working on, and just nothing seemed to line up properly for us to get it done last week. But we were able to get a bunch of other stuff done that I'm hoping you guys will see in the upcoming days here. I'm pretty sure I'm going to release the first episode of Josh's World, which is a Minecraft, I guess not really walkthrough. It's a Minecraft show filmed by a 8-year-old, and he narrates it, and I think it's going to be a lot of fun. Besides that, we're a business. That's a thing that's happening. That is awesome. That's a thing I really like. We've become an official business, in the eyes of the law. So that's kind of cool. We went down to the government building and registered Blind Ninja Studios. So it's a pretty big step for us. So that's something I was really excited about. We ended up playing some more Nintendo 64 because, well, why not? And we played GoldenEye. I finally found my copy of GoldenEye. Super exciting. I was really excited to play, so it was me and Rick and Eric and Brandon was there, and we sat down and we're playing, and none of us remembered how it wasn't as good as we remembered it being, is really, I guess, what it boils down to. I remember it being just this awesome experience where we'd sit down, play for hours on end, and have a blast. We probably played for an hour and a half before we all just kind of got sick of it. I don't know if it was the graphics or only having one joystick to move around with, or if it was some combination of the two, but it holds up better in my mind than it actually does. The single player is still fine, just something about the multiplayer just doesn't quite gel right. What are you gonna do? So Carlos's birthday was this past week, and we went to Fogo de Chão. I don't know if you've ever been to Fogo de Chão, but if you haven't, I highly recommend it. We went during the week at lunchtime, so it was a lot cheaper than if you go at dinner time. But so I guess the premise behind Fogo is you're sitting at a table with your friends, and they walk around with giant things of meat on skewers, and they just cut you off a slab on your table, and it's all you can eat for one flat price. And we ate so much meat, and Carlos just kept making dick jokes the entire time. I don't have an exact number, but there was a ridiculous amount of dick jokes going on. He even made me take his picture of him putting meat in his mouth. I might throw it up here just so you can see it. It's pretty funny. Last night, Eric and I were having a few beers, and we're like, well, let's watch something. We weren't really sure what to watch, so I was flipping through Amazon Prime instead of Netflix, because we already looked through all of Netflix. But anyway, we saw that Survivor season 24. That show has been on for 24 seasons, and probably many, many more in the future. Anyway, so we came across Survivor season 24, and this might get a little spoilery, but I don't know if you can really spoil Survivor, because I'm not really sure who still watches Survivor. If you do, let me know in the comments below, because I'd be curious about it. Anyway, so we're watching Survivor season 24. It's the One World season, and there's this guy on there, Colton. And, he's this flamboyantly gay guy, and at first, they split the teams up into men and women, and he's like, well, I can't even fit in with the guys, not even like giving them a chance or talking to them or anything. So he like goes over to the girls. The girls don't want him there because he's on the other team. And so like he ends up getting like a hidden immunity idol or something, and like starts running the team. And I'm not sure how he got everyone to follow his votes, but he starts voting off the people he just doesn't like for really no reason. But then they end up going to tribal council one night by basically telling the girls that they're going instead of them, which was a really dumb move. But that's totally besides the point. And then at tribal council, he goes on this tirade about being this rich, stuck-up brat, and I hated him so much. I guess the point of the story is I don't know if I've ever hated a character that much. He was such a bigot. Ugh. Like, he hated this guy named Bill, who was a stand-up, and he kept telling Bill to get a real job. And I'm like, but stand-up, that's a real job. Like, you can get paid doing it. If it's what you love, go for it, do it. And he's just like, Colton was like, well, I would never associate with poor people, and yada, yada, yada. And then, like, Jeff was like, well, is this a racial thing? And he's like, no, I have African American people in my family. Jeff is like, oh, name some. Well, my housekeeper, but she's like part of the family. Who says something like that? I couldn't fathom it. The only saving grace of like the entire evening was the fact that we were getting really into it, and so like when Colton left, like a couple episodes later, we just cheered. We were so happy. Plus the Petrus aged ale was quite delicious. So that definitely helped. I really need to finish that season of Survivor now. I feel kind of sad, actually, that I have to finish this. I mean, a lot of that stuff is edited to make you hate the character or whatever, but I don't know. There's something about it was just... I just felt like he just was not a good person. So if you enjoyed this video, please check out some of our other videos. We have a couple more that'll be popping up later this week or next week. Also, check out our podcast. We have the Department of Defense, which is our talk show, where we sit down and talk about the news, talk about other just topics. We have, once a month, Research Team Alpha comes out and they tell us about like some supernatural happenings going on in the world. I think the last time they came on, we talked about Bigfoot, and then we also do guest segments. This past week, we had Zach Miller, who does Joe and Monkey, and he was fantastic. Just absolutely awesome. I highly recommend you go find that podcast and give it a listen to. We also have Tabletop Theater, which is our tabletop game podcast. So not like board games, more Dungeons and Dragons type, tabletop RPGs. We're just wrapping up the Sentinel City Blues. So go give that a listen to. That's run on the Fate system. It's really fun. And Console Cowboys is another one of our shows. That is our video game podcast where we just talk about games, different aspects of games. I believe last week we covered gaming peripherals. What we liked, what we didn't like, what we kind of look for in a peripheral that we use often. And besides that, please subscribe and get more of our awesome content. And I'm Casey. I'll see you guys next week.